have to bring snacks.
The macro piece? I think I get to 10. Oh, this is for the first group. All right, you guys, we're gonna get going here. All right, we're gonna make this as short as possible for you guys. You guys have all been through the workshop before, and so we got a couple things that we want to cover. So we'll just go through them real quick. We're gonna establish new and revised calorie macro goals. Then we're gonna review the challenge guidelines. Go over lifestyle habits and routines for long-term weight loss goals, which is something new that we're starting this challenge. And the fourth thing is we're going to go over, we're going to be giving you guys some self-evaluation sheets throughout the challenge. We'll talk about that. And then the last thing that we're going to cover is maintenance options, all right? So we'll talk a little bit about how to succeed on maintenance plans. All right, so you guys should all have some handouts and you guys can just follow along. If you have MyFitnessPal, go ahead and pull that up as well. And then if you need a pen to fill out that worksheet, Melissa will get you guys
There should be
pins.
3. Okay. Yeah, 3 different pages. I need a pen.
All right.
Well,
I'll give you guys a minute. Get a pen, find a spot. Feel free to grab a box, Shiva, if you want, or you can sit on the floor. Also grab a bench. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is set up our calorie and macro goals. All right, and so you guys have all done this before. We wanna give you guys a little bit of info, things to take in consideration before you set them up though. All right, so just pulling up MyFitnessPal here. All right, so a couple important things to be reminded of when it comes to setting up your calorie goals. So, number one, if you did well on the last spring challenge that we just had in May, you hit your weight loss goal and also did well at maintaining your weight during the maintenance phase, then you're gonna probably have a different calorie goal for this challenge. Does that make sense? All right, so really important to understand, the leaner that you get, the less calories you burn. All right, so if you wanna continue to lose weight, you're gonna have to be in a slightly greater caloric deficit than when you started your last cut. So, for example, if my cutting calories for the last challenge was, I started off at 2,000 calories, then this next challenge, my cutting calories are gonna be less than 2,000 calories. Does that make sense? All right, and MyFitnessPal should auto-regulate that as long as your weight, activity level, and your weekly weight loss goal is current. All right, so real important that you understand that. And so we're gonna check that in a second. Now, if MyFitnessPal is giving you the same calorie goal, and again, this is all for somebody who did really well on the first challenge, maintained that weight through the maintenance phase, and is starting this challenge. Again, if you did well at this challenge, then and MyFitnessPal is giving you the same calories, then you need to talk to us because we need to switch those up for you. Okay. Second person, or second option, if you did well in the last challenge last spring, but then you gained some or all of the weight back during the maintenance phase, then your calorie goals are probably going to be set fairly similar to the last challenge. So that's fine. That's the only case where you should be having the same calorie goals as last challenge. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? All right, now if you're in this category, we have some options for you that we're gonna go over during the maintenance phase to help you guys maintain your weight loss in between challenges. Okay, so let's pull up MyFitnessPal, and then there's 3 categories we wanna make sure are current. Your weight, your weekly goal, and then your activity level, right? So I'll give you guys a minute or 2 to do that.
So you start out in the settings?
So you're going to start that in MyFitnessPal. You pull up the More tab. For me, it looks like that little 3 dots in the bottom corner there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go to goals.
Yeah.
And then from there, they have you put in your current weight. The goal weight doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect your calories, but your weekly goal. So it can be set to, we're going to recommend that you set it to either 1 or 2 pounds per week, okay? No more than that. And then your activity level, okay? And so if your activity level hasn't changed, then it's going to be the same that it was during the last challenge. Any questions on that before we move on to the macros? Right. All right, so now everybody should have a current calorie goal, and now we're going to establish our macro goals. So a couple things we want to consider here before we establish our macro composition for this next challenge. All right, so we want to look at, first off, at what has worked well for us in the past. All right, so if you're comfortable and happy with the results that you've gotten from previous challenges, then by all means, feel free to keep the same macro breakdown. On the other hand, if you feel like you consistently hit your calorie goal and in previous challenges, but you weren't really satisfied with the amount of weight that you lost, then you may want to consider a different macro breakdown. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So other considerations, something that we try to remind everybody of, not all calories are created equal. Protein, fat, and carbohydrates, they're going to produce different reactions from your body. And you can optimize fat loss by adhering to a macro breakdown that is going to be more accommodating to your lifestyle and your activity level. And so for the majority of us who have fairly sedentary jobs, you may see better results with a lower carb breakdown for this challenge, all right? So low carb, higher protein, you can move some of those carbs into your proteins, into your fats, okay? So that's something to consider if you weren't happy with your results on the last challenges. And generally, what we recommend, if you've done these challenges before, that you aspire to move more and more towards a low carb, high protein lifestyle. That's not only going to optimize fat loss while you're cutting, but it's also going to help mitigate muscle loss while you're in a deficit, right? So those are something that we should be considering when we're dieting. We need to make sure that we're getting in enough protein in our diet so that we don't lose muscle mass. All right. So again, in an effort to keep this short, we're not going to go over all of the macro breakdowns that we would in the typical workshop that we do, but we have a couple of sheets here for you. If you need a little bit of a reminder, there's basically 3 categories. You can go in between these 3 categories, but we have a high carb diet option, which we don't usually recommend for people unless they're vegetarians. Then we have a moderate carb, which would be a 40-30-30 split. And then we have a low carb option, which would be 25-45-30. There's positives and negatives to each of the breakdowns. And so it might be good to refresh yourself on what those are if you're not sure what you want to do for the challenge. Okay? If you need some more insight on that, feel free to reach out to us. Mark noted on, I think there's a spot on your worksheet that says I want some more information about setting up my macro breakdown. Just write that down and let us know, and we'll help you out before you leave. All right? Any questions before we go on? All right, let's cover the challenge guidelines. All right, so you guys should all have this as a handout, so you can take this home in case you need a reminder. The challenge is going to start tomorrow, September 12th, and go through Saturday, October 9th. Goals, same as the goals that we've had in the past. Establish a nutrition plan to progress towards your ideal body composition. Those drums, man. And then you're going to establish a fitness routine and increase exercise activity level both inside and outside the gym. So one of the things that we want to encourage you during these challenges is to be more active. Be as active as you can. Get into the gym more, go for more walks in the evening. Just try to burn as many calories throughout the day as you can, all right? role of your partner, accountability and encouragement. And I want to encourage you guys, with your partners, you can choose your own partners, or if you need help, we can pick out a partner for you. But we really want you guys to hold each other accountable. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. But man, accountability is such a huge factor when it comes to succeeding on this program. So try and find somebody that is going to hold you accountable and that you aren't going to mind holding them accountable. All right, because it's going to be a point system just like it has been in the past, and it's real important that you guys are engaging with one another throughout the challenge. Second role is the winners of the challenge will be determined by you and your partner's adherence to your nutrition plans, class attendance, and participation in the weekly challenges. The role of the coaches, that's me and Melissa. We're going to help establish your goals today, evaluate your macronutrient and caloric intake. And so we're going to give you guys, once you guys fill out those sheets, we're going to give you some feedback if you think that they need to be adjusted. And then along that, assisting you with questions throughout the challenge. All right, now the guidelines, it's a point system, so there's 4 possible points a week, so that's 8 total for each team. You're gonna get 1 point for logging all your meals into MyFitnessPal and averaging within 100 calories of your calorie goal. You're gonna get the second point for logging 4 or more workouts into Wodify. Third point you're gonna get for completing the weekly challenge, all right? So we're gonna be issuing out weekly challenges over the next 4 weeks. They're going to change, and we'll tell you what the first weekly challenge is at the end of this. All right, so the last point, this is going to be where we kind of do something a little different here. We're going to have you guys filling out a weekly self-evaluation sheet by the following Monday. So we're going to give you guys a sheet at the end of the week, and then you have till Monday to turn it in. If you're not going to be here on Monday, you can always just send us a screenshot or take a picture and text it that you filled it out. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about that during the self-evaluation part. All right, and then we want you guys to send us 4 screenshots. You guys all have done this before. Every Sunday, we want a screenshot of your weekly calorie, your nutrient, and your macro chart, and you need to send it to the cfironsidenutrition@gmail.com, and also send it to your partner just to let them know that you're on track. Okay. And so real quick, let's go ahead and go into MyFitnessPal. Let's go to the More tab. I want to make sure that we're set up. You're going to go to nutrition, and then make sure the day view is or the view is for the week. All right, and we're gonna change, it should be set from Sunday to Saturday. That's what we wanna see, okay? So make sure that's set up. And then each Sunday, we're also gonna require you to send us a picture of your weight chart, all right? So you need to weigh yourself every day, and I'll show you what that looks like, though it might be a little bit embarrassing for me. It's gonna be under the progress tab. Boom, look at that. Oh, terrible. Good. Good. I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. Really good.
Send that to our,
Yeah. All right, evaluating your progress. All right, so before the challenge begins, we always want to encourage you guys. Obviously, we're going to be weighing ourselves, but a big, I'd say even more encouraging than seeing the scale going down is seeing your waist, seeing your measurements around your arms, your legs going down. And that's going to really fire you up, even if the scale isn't moving in the direction you want it to. So real important that you get other metrics to start tracking your progress so that you don't get frustrated if the scale stalls out on you. All right, so measure your waist, any areas that you tend to gain weight. If you need help with that, me or Melissa can help do that for you. Look for an email from us this weekend confirming your macro and calorie targets. And then last thing in MyFitnessPal, if everybody can pull up the More tab again, we're going to go to Diary. Where is it? It's under Settings. And then go to Diary Settings, Diary Sharing, and make sure it's set to friends only. All right, so we're gonna send you an email or a request in MyFitnessPal so that we can help give you guys some feedback and make sure you guys are logging everything just for a little extra accountability. Okay. All right, moving on. All right, so another thing that we're doing a little bit differently this time around, it's not necessarily different, but we're just really trying to focus our attention on lifestyle habits and routines that are going to help you guys with long-term weight loss. All right, so during this challenge, we want to cultivate 3 areas. All right, so 3 main disciplines we want you to prioritize to help you reach your goals. So the first one is going to be sleep. So getting into a good sleep routine, it can be really challenging, but if you want to optimize your weight loss, you need to prioritize your sleep, and at the very least, give yourselves an opportunity to sleep at least 6 to 8 hours a night. So this is going to allow our bodies to recover from training, keep our immune systems healthy and strong. It's going to balance all our hormone levels, all of which is going to aid us in weight loss. All right, so one of the things we're going to be asking you guys throughout the challenge is to monitor your sleep schedule during this self-evaluation that we give you at the end of the week. And we want to help you guys offer up some ideas to improve your sleep habits throughout the challenge. All right, so you're going to get a point again for filling out the weekly self-evaluation sheet. And one of the questions we're going to ask you on there is, on average, I get blank hours of sleep a night. All right, so we're looking for that 6 to 8. If you're not getting 6 to 8, you're still going to score a point. We just want to know where you're at with your sleep, because that can be a huge factor if you stall out with your weight loss. The second habit that we really want to cultivate is, again, prioritizing your fitness routine. Nothing really new there, but one of the routines that we want to encourage everyone to get into is writing in your calendar what days and what times of classes that you plan on attending the gym. All right, so during this challenge, in order to score a point, again, on the self-evaluation sheet, we're going to ask you guys to list 5 times that you're planning on coming to the gym to get in a workout. I'm sorry, 4. It's not 5, it's 4. It's okay if you don't make those classes, if you switch it up, but we want you guys to kind of start being mindful of, like, this is a routine that's really going to help me. If I write in my calendar that I'm going to go to the morning class because I got a dentist appointment later on in the afternoon and I can't make it, that's going to really help you stay consistent here. And it's something that we want you guys, obviously, once the challenge is over, to continue on with. So that's the second one. The third one, and this is going to be a bit of a challenge, it's going to be planning out your weekly meals. And so having even a loose eating plan is going to help you avoid overeating and excessive calorie consumption. So during the challenge, we want people to get in the habit of planning out their weekly meals. And also realize, I mean, we do this too, but it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. But the more that you do it, the easier it becomes and the faster it becomes. All right. So as a part of that, for the first weekly challenge, we're going to create a 7-day meal plan. All right. This will include what you intend to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also include any planned snacks. All right. It's okay if you divert from it, but we just want you guys to have a plan. All right. So we don't need calorie or macro breakdown for the plan, but if you have it, that's awesome. We just want to get you thinking again about what your weekly consumption of food is going to look like. And we're going to be providing you guys a template of what that should look like. Do we have that yet? Or we'll send it to you guys. All right, so we're going to be focusing on encouraging you to cultivate these 3 routines and habits over the next 4 weeks. And by the end of the 4 weeks, we hope you guys will see the benefit of it and continue those routines and habits after the challenge is over. Any questions on that? All right. So the self-evaluation sheet. This is, again, something new that we're doing. We're going to be requiring everyone to fill one out at the end of the week and either sending it to us or handing it in on Monday. We'll print them out for you guys to take a look at, and actually I think we already handed those out. And again, we're going to be providing you with a weekly self-evaluation sheet that's going to ask you questions related to your performance throughout the week, and then help you identify any weekly wins as well as any areas that you can improve on. All right, it should only take about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. and it's gonna give us some feedback on how we can help you out throughout the challenge. Any questions? Last thing we're gonna go over. All right, so last thing we're gonna go over is maintenance. All right, so we know that maintenance is a challenge, and we want to provide you guys with some options to give you guys a little bit more guidance and accountability once the challenge is over. So this idea came from several conversations that I've had with several of our members who expressed that they really love the challenges, they've done really well on them, but then when maintenance rolls around, it's just a lot more challenging for them to maintain that weight. And so, so in order to help you guys see better results on this, we want to give you guys some further guidance on the challenge once it's over. All right, so this is just going to be an option. You don't have to do it, but it's going to be available once the challenge is over. We're going to do a maintenance accountability plan. All right, so I'll just give you a quick little description of it. So we'll begin by assessing your performance on the nutrition challenge, getting your final weigh-in and measurements after the cut. Then we'll establish new calorie and macro goals for the maintenance phase. All right, really important. And then we'll also establish agreed parameters for the maintenance phase. So if you, it's going to be with the scale. And so if you go outside of your maintenance weight, then we'll decide on what we're going to do. It's probably going to be more like a little mini cut just to get you back to where you were after the cutting phase. All right, so the plan will have 2 monthly in-person appointments and weigh-ins. At these meetings, we're going to review your results, and then we'll help you make any necessary adjustments to the maintenance plan. All right, so the goal with this service is just to offer, again, extra accountability to bridge the gap between cutting phases for those of you guys who have long-term weight loss goals. All right, the maintenance plan will begin with 1 to 2 weeks of tracking your food on MyFitnessPal with an increased calorie goal. So you're going to come out of that calorie deficit and you're going to be eating at a maintenance level. And then after the 2 weeks, the emphasis is going to shift back to habits. So habits and routines rather than just perpetually tracking your food and dieting. All right. So we'll be looking at your sleep activity or your sleep level, looking at your sleep, your activity level, and meal habits. And then we're also going to help you maintain that weight that you lost during the challenge. So again, there will be parameters in place if old habits reemerge, and yeah, so that's basically it. We'll give you guys more information on that. You're gonna have, it's gonna be basically a personal training session. So we want to try to make it as affordable as we can. It's $45 a month after the nutrition challenge, and again, that includes 2 30-minute review appointments. We're gonna weigh in, look at your gym attendance, and make any necessary adjustments to your maintenance plan. So if that's something that you've struggled with, we definitely recommend that you consider that, and we'd love to give you guys more guidance and help in between the challenges. And sometimes it's hard for us to know how to help, but this is one way that we're going to try to give you guys a hand there. So reach out to us if that's something that you guys are interested in. Cool. Any questions? Anything to add, Melissa? All right, well, if you guys have your worksheets filled out, we'll take them. And then if you have any questions, reach out to us. Oh yeah, and then are we gonna do that now or are we gonna wait until the other? We'll go ahead. We'll go ahead. Oh yeah, if you had, we sent you a little maintenance survey just to kind of see what your guys' interest is in doing the maintenance plan after the nutrition. So if you guys want to hand that in, we'll take that from you. If you did it, if you could just send us a picture of it. Cool. All right, so we'll take your worksheets, and that's it. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.